Hi, I'm JJ. Welcome or welcome back. Today I'm doing my pile of possibilities for Historathon. It's an event that was created, I believe by Ven, and has a bunch of co-hosts this year. I'm going to link all of their channels below because I don't want to get them wrong, just trying to remember them. But it's a year-long event where you read nonfiction books throughout different periods in history, divided into 4 quarters. So the first 3 months of the year, we're going to be focusing on any time in history up until 500 AD. And so that's what I'm going to be talking about for books that I have. I also have a few that do not fit in those categories, but they were ones that I recently acquired. I did a Year of the End book haul, but some of these I ordered right after I filmed that, or some of them I didn't get until after I filmed that. So they do fall within this whole year of Historathon, so I just want to include them here just because I'm excited that I got them and I want to talk about them. And then I also have not only a list of possibilities, but ones that I want to listen to on audiobook as well. I have a lot of time to listen on audiobooks, so I do get a lot of reading done that way. So I just wanted to focus on a few that I'm definitely looking forward to listening on audiobook that I already have access to, so I don't have to worry about trying to find them. So I did join a Discord with the Historathon folks, and I want to be reading Plato and the Tyrant with them while they're reading that. I had read one of his previous books, Dying Every Day, Seneca and the Court of Nero, and I really loved that book, so I'm really looking forward to delving into basically a parallel story, but from the Greek side of things. And in that Discord also, they mentioned that they're going to buddy read Penelope's Bones by Emily Hauser, which I do want to read. I'm fascinated by it. I have to wait. I did put a hold on the library, so I do have to wait until I get that one, but it shouldn't be too long. And that one is exploring being inspired by the women that were mentioned in the Odyssey or left out of Homer's stories, like Helen of Troy, Penelope, and all those characters. And then talking about real women during those time and what they would be going through during the Homer era of life and stuff like that. It just sounded fascinating to me. I also really want to read Messalina and Agrippina. Agrippina and Messalina, I'm already tangentially interested in and have knowledge of just through knowing Roman history, having read several books, but I really also got familiarized with them in I, Claudius and Claudius the God, which is a historical fiction book, but it's fabulous. It's a duology, and these are essentially two of the wives, but also almost villains of his story, and they're fascinating women that I can't wait to read about. I also have on audiobook a biography of Cleopatra, as well as one, The Woman Who Would Be Queen, which is about I'm sorry, I'm not even going to try to remember, but it was the European or Egyptian pharaoh woman. And so those are the ones that I want to primarily focus on. But while I'm reading Plato and the Tyrant. I would like to do another Greek story. So there was a Rise of Athens that I might do. There's also an African history of Africa that I was interested in, as well as the land between the rivers, which is about Mesopotamia. And I also have Babylon. I know that's very ambitious, but if you've been following my channel for a while, you know that I read a lot of books throughout each month. So I don't foresee that any of those are actually going to be a problem. I wanted to give myself enough possibilities because I am definitely a mood reader. So some of those I will prioritize, some of them I might change. I have like a whole list of possibilities, like Ghost on the Throne about Alexander the Great. That will probably be in the list as well, and he's from the same author who did Plato and the Tyrant and Dying Every Day. So I do want to hopefully get to that one as well. But the ones that I'm actually going to read, or possibilities, the one I know for sure I'm going to read is Pontius Pilate by Anne Rowe. And I'm really excited about this book. It's been on my radar for a while. I actually wanted to read it last year, but I was new to BookTube, and I had started this series where I was going to do a blind date with the book, and I wrapped a bunch of books that I had wanted to do so that I could get to them in an exciting way. The problem with that is being new to BookTube, I wasn't aware of all the challenges and all the community events that I wanted to participate in. So unwrapping those books kind of became a low priority, and there was multiple times I wanted to pick up and read this book, but it was wrapped and I couldn't. So I definitely will be starting this one in the next day or two, and I'm really excited about it. I'm also excited because after I showed this for my Christmas videos, Angelina over at Books Do Things to Me mentioned that Pontius Pilate is a main character or narrative plot line in Master and Margarita, which I want to read this year, and it made me more excited to read that book, knowing that it's going to be delving into his variation and version of Pontius Pilate. So I am excited for this book. I also have Salt, A World History, and essentially how salt was essential to all of ancient history, how it was used for a myriad of ways, but also for currency, and how it shifts over time. I'm just excited to explore different cultures and using the through line of salt for that. I also have a book similar to this that is Mosquito, which is about mosquitoes in history and how they affect different things. I did not add it here, but it is also on my radar, so you might hear me talking about that one later as well. This one is by Mark Kurlansky. This is Roman Honor, The Fire in the Bones by Carlin A. Barton. This one was actually harder to get a hold of, and it's going to be a tough read. I'll probably just take my time when I finally get to it. If you can see, there's all kinds of footnotes in here. It's probably more footnotes. It's more scholarly work, so there's a lot more footnotes than actual narrative here. So books like these always take me a lot more time. But it's essentially the death and how the Romans dealt with their dead, which I was interested in learning about. The Silk Roads, and this one is a long one, but you know, even though it started in this era, it does go beyond 500 AD. So I will, you know, start this book in the next 3 months, but if I don't finish it, it's fine going forward into quarter 2 because it still fits within that timeline. And this is a new history of the world by exploring the Silk Roads and what they meant to humanity's civilization and the bridge between the worlds that it connected. And this is by Peter Frenkampen. I'm probably butchering a lot of these names, but I don't know how to say all of them. And these next 2 books, I had done a video earlier that was 10 books that I want to read before I die. And they were books that were on my shelf for a long time. Just the idea of them kind of, for the most part, were either daunting or I knew I wasn't in the mood for some of them. But I know that I want to read them, and these last 2 fit that category. This is Battles That Changed History, the battles that decided the fate of nations. And so this talks about all different kinds of battles. And so what I'm going to do so that I can actually get through this book this year is only read the battles that take place within that era leading up to 500 AD. And so it's got a lot of artwork, a lot of interesting things. I thought this was a really fun book, and I'm excited to explore it. And then the last one for my pile of possibilities for quarter 1 is the History of the World Map by Map. And this is very similar to the Battles one, but this one is about how the maps are redrawn as different nations rise to power, conquer, colonize, and all that stuff. There's some really great art in here as well, as you get to learn about different periods and civilizations and huge events in history. And so once again, I'm going to be reading and exploring the chapters that deal with pre-500 AD and slowly just make it through the whole year through this book, so that by the end I will have conquered these 2 books on my list of things I wanted to read before I die. So those are the ones that are exclusive to quarter 1 that will qualify. These last few are ones that I, like I said, acquired after I showed my book haul. These are the nonfiction edition of those books. And Saracen over at Saracen's Salute is responsible for 3 of them. So I hope that you're happy that you continuously add to my TBR. I know he warned me away from 1, but I am really excited about all 3 that I got that were inspired by him. This one is Iraq Between 2 World Wars. And this one I'm excited about because not only is it shorter than a lot of the other books that I'll be reading for Historathon, but it is a time period that I don't know very much about, especially from the Iraq point of view. And so this one was by Riva Spector Simon. Another one that he suggested was Michael Burleigh's Sacred Causes, The Clash of Religion and Politics from the Great War to the War on Terror. And so he said this one was quite dense, so I will just, if I get to it, we'll just be taking my time through it. I'm not going to rush or anything, so if I don't finish it in the time allotted, I know that I can at least be working on it. I just am excited in this topic just because religion fascinates me, the different kinds, the different clashes and stuff. I do have one that I'll be showing for my possibilities when we talk about I have one, the Arab are the Crusades through Arab eyes, but also basically dark Christianity and how that influences and spread throughout the country, and then there's or throughout the world, and then also several about the Reformation and all that era when I get to that era. But it has always been a topic that fascinates me. So, you know, despite Saracen's warnings, I know that I'll at least get something out of this book. And then I have this one I'm the most excited about from the ones that he suggested. Let Our Fame Be Great, Journeys Among the Defiant People of the Caucasus by Oliver Bulow. And I'm really excited about this one. I've been doing a Read Around the World challenge, and I'm actually really excited because the Olympics are coming back. And it was during the Summer Olympics that I'm watching all the nations, all the flags, you know, for the opening and closing ceremonies, and realizing that if I knew of some of the smaller places in smaller countries, I realized that I didn't know anything beyond like the name, you know, or maybe their location. But, and then there were some countries that I didn't know anything about. And I just decided then that I wanted to read from a country, from every country in the world. And so I primarily want to read from authors from those countries, but that has led me down the rabbit hole of when you read historical fiction from those countries and learning about topics that I wasn't fully aware of, or learning about their side of things, it made me want to read and research more about their country in particular, that event in particular, and it kind of just spiraled into this bigger challenge that I'm doing. So I'm kind of excited about when the Winter Olympics come and how I'll have a better understanding, seeing a lot of those nations come in, a lot of those flags come in, knowing that it's Winter Olympics, so it's not going to affect it, but now knowing that Indonesia is really good at backgammon, just because of reading a story from someone who's Chinese Indonesian. And so I am fascinated to see what that brings to my experience this year with watching the Olympics when they come on. But sorry for all that aside, but that's why I'm excited about this, because not only am I reading authors from every country, I'm trying to focus on the minority civilizations, or indigenous civilizations, or civilizations and peoples who don't usually get a very big voice, who aren't usually getting to write their own stories or having their stories heard. I've been focusing a lot on indigenous people here in America and over and everywhere. So this one is about the ones in the Caucasus, and the Chechens, Nogas, I'm probably going to butcher a lot of these names, the Mountain Turks, the Ingush, and the Circassians are some of them. And I don't know much, and I long to learn more. So I will be getting to this year. I will probably even read it outside of the parameters of Historathon, just so that I can make sure that I get it done. And when I do, I'll just do it in my monthly wrap up or whatever. The next one is God's Playground, and this is a history of Poland from 1795 to the present. There's another volume that's pre-history to that, but this was the time period that I wanted to learn about. As I said, I'm reading about other cultures and authors from other countries, and I had read one a few years ago, before I even started my reading challenge, that was mentioning how for a long time Poland was a people with no country. And that always fascinated me, and I always wanted to learn more about how important, since it's central to a lot of places in Europe, how it keeps getting attacked and overthrown, and it's always being overtaken and occupied, and they and how that affects their history and the people, and just the whole culture of the area. And this is my way to try to remedy that. It's also a very dense scholarly work. There's a lot of footnotes. It's also very small writing. So this would definitely be one of the more time-consuming ones that I'm showing here, but I probably won't participate in Historathon just because I'll want to read more instead of just taking the whole 3 months to read one book. And the same with this one. When I looked at this one, there are a lot of footnotes and very small writing for this one, and a lot of things that I need to know. But there are some historical pictures and stuff. This one is The Fatal Shore, the epic of Australia's founding. So, you know, being from the United States, I know a lot about, you know, how the United States came to be, and all the ways that you know, when it colonized, and what it did to the indigenous peoples there. But I don't know so much about other cultures and other countries, and that's what I was trying to explore. And this is my contribution to Australia for that. I've read fiction and everything from Australia. I've been trying to also try to find indigenous writers from Australia, but this will be my first nonfiction book that primarily discusses Australia. Anyway, sorry for all the rambling. I know I kind of went a little off course there, but here's my contribution to my first time trying the year-long Historathon event. I'm excited to participate in it, and I look forward to making my way through some of these piles of possibilities. Thank you, enjoy, and have a great year. Have happy reading, and happy Historathon. Thank you.